Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, what a year that was. No, not 2020, 2017. It was the year that the United States voted in a social media president. It was the year the WhatsMap was released on an unsuspecting public, and it was the year that this map was released onto the workshop. Nobody noticed it. Certainly not me anyway, and suddenly, for some bizarre reason, it just started trending. So I figured it's long overdue a review, and if you agree with me, then you are in the BonBon Club. And if you like being part of the BonBon Club, well, you know how to show your approval. It's time for the daily reminder. I really wish this woman could show some more enthusiasm, but yes, thank you very much for all of your ongoing support. Today's map is Delta by Deathtrap. What a cool name. Oh, such a cool name. They've actually got 3 maps on the workshop. This was their second of 3, so no My First Maps thing today. There's your start square, highway. You can just make out the rail there, and a splash of water as well. Basically all you kind of want, isn't it? Then you have terrain heights. It's an undulating map, a realistic vibe to it as well. Not an easy one for beginners to play on, no. Then you have your resources, which are good and strong. For some reason, the water seems very fertile. Fertile water is what we've got today. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, well, despite this coming out long before Sunset Harbour, it's absolutely perfect for that. Off to the workshop, what do we need? Well, no DLC required. We'll be using the Alpine theme and no other requirements, apart from these, which are not there. So we have to consider that these things would be missing. Unfortunately, I'd already subscribed to them, so therefore they appear in the review because I had already got them. But had I not got them, then the environment would be looking very bland right now. So, so the Alpine theme by FSF Ranger and the realistic 1.2 LUT. Those are the criminals today. Sorry, FSF Ranger, not at all. Very nice theme. Definitely works a treat, and is very striking too. So, good result there. Right, okay, we are going to do a fly down the highways now. For 2017 standards, the highways aren't exceptional. The winner today on the exceptional scale would definitely be the terrain. I do love the terrain, and I think combined with the theme and the LUT, it definitely works. It's got a definite alpine vibe, and I think the selection of the trees, if you subscribe to them, really brings out that same sort of feel as well. A little bit of terrain non-alignment going on there. That's potential for a little bit, if that carries on, for a little bit of blue mantle or something. Certainly some separation of the road from the terrain, which is something we'll keep an eye out for, just in case, you know. Another cliffy type edge going on here, and if we have a look down here, you can see a little bit of zigzags down the side, and you can just make out, yeah, there's the separation between road and terrain there. You can see the horizontal line. Yeah, not the biggest sin. Now here's an opportunity to do something exceptional. We've got a bit of a hollow going on here, which means it's going to be really easy to build a nice smooth flowing intersection. Like a nice straight line across there, a nice straight transition across here instead of dropping down and back up again, and the same up that way. Unfortunately, the creator, Deathtrap, hasn't really taken the opportunity to really make that shine as an intersection is merged into the environment. This is definitely a time when Move It was available as well, so yeah, there would have been the opportunity to do that fairly easily. I mean, it still takes time and dedication, but never mind. Now we've got another, oh, hello, this is definitely Blue Mantle time. Yeah, separation between the two, and yeah, the answer here, obviously, the heavy road stress as well in the texturing, where it all goes completely black along one side. It's very unfortunate, really, because, like I say, to avoid this, it's just a simple question of running the terrain tool along just before you lay down the road, just to level things out a little bit. And then you can have both lanes at exactly the same level. and it'll look much nicer. But never mind. It's a bit late now. We're a bit four years on in the future kind of time, and I don't expect that Deathtrap will go back and fix these. But of course, if you like the map enough, you can come along and you can update this yourself for your own city build. And this is the reason why we don't just suddenly switch off after 1 minute after seeing a little bit of like road separation like that. Intersection time, not a vanilla wishbone, but a wishbone. And it's yeah, very clunky again in terms. Do you like the lane merging here and over here in terms of the shape, and then we get a big drop down there in the terrain. So it's halfway to being really very nice indeed. Then up and over the hill, which is fine. Could have had a cutting or something if we were doing a realistic build, but we won't worry too much. In fact, we're not going to and ah over everything here. We're just going to try and skip across and just have a look at some features like the big old bridge there. Everybody loves one. Could have been better aligned, but do you know what? That's certainly not the biggest problem with the map. It's fine. Then we have a non-vanilla cloverleaf, and again, very slick intersection. Just could do with a lot of love spent on it. I do like to spend a little bit of love on our intersections, don't we? Up here, this is another nice looking intersection here that could just do with a little bit of work with the terrain. That's probably one of the better ones on the map actually in terms of how it's actually been worked with the terrain. Speaking of the terrain, look at that backdrop. Look, this is what's going to sell you on the map. If you like what you're seeing, this is where you're going to be going with this one, and you're going to say, do you know what, I can work with these. As roads, these work. They will take traffic into your start square, they'll take traffic out of your start square. We've got rail, which will do exactly the same, and then when you're buying your tile or whatever, you'll just fix the area that you're working on, because something on the other side of the map, you're not even going to notice, are you? Yeah, heading down now towards Start Square area, somewhere down here. Next intersection, I do believe, will be it. If it's a if it's trumpet intersection, I think that's what we're working with today. And yeah, this is the one. And again, it's an interesting choice. It's not a very easy start build there. We do have the rail running across, but you're immediately hitting a hill there. I'd rather actually that the intersection was pointing the other way, because at the moment we're actually pointing away from the actual centre of the map. Shall we switch across the rail here? Yeah, that Start Square intersection points towards the river, which is fine. But we're off right-ish towards the edge of the map. We're not actually on the edge of the 25 tiles. There is one tile between us and that in each direction. But most of the rest of the map is facing the other way. And I think it would be more enticing to actually have the intersection pointing the other way, but then of course you still want to get to the water in the river. Anyway, the rail, yeah, it's not going to be a realistic rail. We've seen from the highways that they definitely have been struggling with their networking, which is fine. It's not the easiest task at all, and they've done a pretty good job with the terrain and the trees as well. I mean, it does look good, but yes, in terms of is this horrific? Because we have seen rail, which is horrific. This is not horrific. This is well within believability on a Cities Skylines vanilla style. Yes, it's not vanilla, but you know what I mean. The standard settings, the standard not worrying too much about realism rules. This isn't too far. We don't have anything going off at a 45-degree angle or anything like that. And I do like this double rail bridge going across the river here. There is always something good to say, something nice to say. And remember, that's what the comments are for. Oh, blimey, that is a bit steep, mind you. Yeah, so that's what the comments are all about. Always find something good to say. If you're going to find something critical to say, balance it out if you can, because that is how people will improve and not hopefully be put off from building maps in the future. Big old chunk of blue mantle there. Didn't need to mention it, but I thought I'd mention it because that's one of my words, blue mantle. Okay, as we head down towards the edge of the map, we'll take one of those intermissions and we'll come back and we'll check for the shipping and the water flow. And so back to Delta by Deathtrap. And thank you, of course, if you don't click the ad blocker, that's a great thing for me. It just helps. It just helps. Anyway, we have some right angle turnings here, which are, well, that wasn't right angle, but you know what I mean. Sharp turnings, which is never good for realistic shipping. And then that is a right angle one there. And then it heads up into a fairly fast flowing part of the river, which is going down the slope a bit. I probably would have stopped a little bit shy of here. Again, the vanilla shipping will not care about this, and so for gameplay it's probably a good thing, but I would say in terms of realism it's going to look a little bit silly if you put your harbour further up. Water flow, we have very strong water flow going down and through the store, past the start square, into the start square. So yes, we have rivers, they work, they are strong, and strong enough that when we get to this location here, we still have good water flow. So all credit for that. The map looks stunning, which is why it's getting a review. It's got a really nice vibe to it. I even like the layout of the river, the islands, where the placement of the mountains and the backdrop are. It could be a little bit flatter in the buildable areas, but again, we're playing a realism here, okay, so that is fine. Loving the way the theme works with the snowy, cold look without it being snow, and it just works. FSF Ranger did a really good job with this theme, and all credit. Oh, it's an older theme. You don't see it used very often, but when it is used, it always has a really nice dramatic effect. That's what we've got here. The overall terrain, like I say, this is what's going to buy you into the map, or sell you into the map, or something, subscribe you into the map. It's a very interesting, challenging terrain, but you are going to want to be upgrading. If you want that realistic vibe, you might want to be upgrading some things like this bridge over here. Yes, it's way out away from the 25, or way out away from the start square. You may never get to it if you're playing the 9-tile rule, but it's not the prettiest, could be much better aligned. And then if we head down this route, looking for trees in the river, and there is one that stands out, which you probably can make out right now. This is the worst culprit. There are a few others, and we'll try and find those before we get to the start square and start winding up and closing down the show. But yes, this is the worst culprit in terms of trees wearing their trunks. Thank you very much. Oh dear. And it's somewhere down here. I think there's some more. Is this edge down here? Yeah, down here. Yeah, we've got a few more. Again, it's not the biggest issue. A few bulldozers and whatever, and you'll be fine with that. Heading over this way, just have a little look at the mountains. Again, the mountains over here look good, like in the highway going up the mountain pass as well. That's all good work. And then down towards the start square. Now, let's have a look at the terrain lines in the start square so you can see just how hilly it is. Yes, it's a little bit challenging. Not one for the new player, not one for the beginner. But it's definitely something you can work with if you fancy doing a realistic mountainside city build. Very nice indeed. Which means we have time for an asset of the day. Now, this is a lovely little thing. It's from KingLeno. Of course, it's going to be lovely. It's from KingLeno. Shake Shack, which is a chain of fast food outlets. I believe they started in Madison Square in the United States, in New York. And yes, now there is something on here I'm going to point out in a minute, but let's see if I can get to the factoids, because factoids first. Very quickly throw one out at you. It has been estimated that the normal paper parking ticket will on average disintegrate in under 4 weeks. Again, this is a 1980s book based in the UK, and I don't know why it takes an estimation to work out if it disintegrates in 4 weeks, because I'm sure there are plenty of parking tickets that weren't paid within 4 weeks that you could tell were starting to disintegrate. But anyway, I'm astounded that in the 1980s they didn't know how long it would take a parking ticket. Okay, we're talking about before the Green Revolution, so there is that. This is a great asset. One thing that really grabbed my eye is this little runner along the front here that tells us that they sell frozen custard. I want frozen custard. Shake Shack by KingLeno, today's asset of the day. Yes, frozen custard. I'll talk about that in a moment if I can. But your chance to vote on the map, is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the day in the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click on the I button now, take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. What do I think of today's map though? I think aesthetically it is eye-catching. I quite like the aesthetics on this one, and I was all prepared to go for a low 4. Problem is, it won't have any trees. And I suspect without the trees, this is going to be nothing better than a high 2. So we're going to drop it down 2 stars for that. High 2 for aesthetics. But if you've got the trees subscribed to already, or you're going to do what I do and like use loading screen and all that. Yeah, anyway, high 2 as it is. Detailing needs quite a bit of work, even for 2017 standards. It could be a lot worse before anybody says 1 star. No, but it is a middle 2 stars. Gameplay potential. Tricky build. Quite a lot of fixing to do. I think it is playable. I'm going to go for 3 stars. I'm going to go with the lower end of 3 because there's a lot of fixing to do. It's not an easy map to build on, although that's not necessarily consideration. I would like to see the start square pointing the other way. Delta by Deathtrap. That was well worth having a look at. I'm quite pleased we did. But yes, frozen custard. Something I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to get a tin of Ambrosia Devon custard. Something we have in the United Kingdom over here. And I'm going to stick it in one of those ice pop maker things. And see what it's like as a lolly. Or a popsicle, as some of you guys would call it. Sounds like a thing. Anyway, where were we? Thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. If you are still here, you're part of the 20 and out elite. Use the word of the day into the comments for some population points, just for fun. We'll be back tomorrow with another map in the What Map series. Thanks for watching.